Shawn didn't mention this, but Shawn and I have known each other, I'm going to age us a little, for 30-some years, and we have cowboyed together that whole time, and it has been fun. Oh my gosh, Shawn was wild when he was young. It was hilarious. I was too, and my husband, he passed away, or whatever, but we just, oh my gosh, we did some pretty wild stuff. So, anyways, it was really fun. So right now, I still run the Flying W Ranch, and Josh and I, my husband and I, at one time, we had up to 80 horses. And we had the guest ranch as well, along with our working horses. And I am not a bronc rider. I have no desire to be. And so the selection process for ranch horses has kind of evolved into something kind of different and interesting rather than brute strength, because I don't have it. And one, I'm a girl, so I just don't have it. And so there's a couple things. So all my ranch horses, and I'm like Shawn, it doesn't matter to me if they're registered, non-registered, size, anything. I look for something that is super steady and really consistent, and they rise up to the occasion. And so I don't like my horses to be real hot. And when I say that, I don't like them to be chargy and active all the time. I like them to be level and steady. And then when I need that, they have it, and then they come right back down. So that's what I look for. And there's a couple things. Temple Grandin has done some studies on, and she's with Colorado State University, and she has changed the whole industry as far as the slaughter industry and, well, even semis loading trucks, which all of us are shipping right now, all of us in the cattle industry. She has changed that to fit, to handle stress levels on cattle. So one of the things she discovered is that in the womb, cattle and horses, they have hair patterns that develop on their foreheads. And it develops the same time their brain does, and it can tell you what your horse is like. So you can go up to a horse, and it's not 100% accurate because you have, experiences that happen to the horse, or, they had somebody that mishandled them or something like that. But what I look for, and especially when we were doing the guest ranch business and we had all those 80 horses, what we did is I look for a horse that has a swirl, and it's just a hair pattern directly between the eyes. And if it's directly between the eyes, that usually means they're pretty easygoing and real steady and stable. If it's above the eyes, it means they're real steady, but they're pretty smart. So you got to be a better rider. You really do. If it's below the eyes and kind of lower, it usually means they're pretty dumb. It's just, and you can kind of track it. And here's the one to really pay attention to is if they're double stacked. So sometimes they'll have two swirls that are stacked like this, or two swirls that are stacked like this, and some of them will have three swirls. And what that means a lot of times is they have multiple personalities. And it is across the board. And some of the worst horses we've ever had, and they're dangerous, have been those horses. And my husband Josh, he loved horses that were really challenging. I did not, and Shawn can attest to that. And Josh had this one, it was double stacked. And Josh was like, he's beautiful. I want to keep him. I'll ride him. And I'm like, okay. Well, the horse got him in a bind one time, and Josh roped a steer, and we were shipping. And the horse froze up, and the steer wrapped him around in the rope, okay? Wrapped the horse, Josh, everything in the rope. And that horse would just freeze up, and then he'd just blow sky high. And anyways, finally we got Josh free, and Josh sold the horse on the way home. But out of that, Josh had bruises that came out on his back from where the saddle horn had hit him in the chest that hard. And so that horse was really unpredictable and just dangerous. And I do go by those swirls. And cattle also have the same swirls, and it's the same pattern. And so you can look at cows, yearlings, calves, everything, and you can kind of tell their personality by the swirl placement on their head. So that's one of my things. And the other thing, oh, so this is one of the best books I've ever found, and it's by a guy named Brett Davis, and it's called The Started Colt. And if any of you ever want to learn anything about horses, this is just fantastic. And so some of the things that I've really picked up on horses is their senses. And I'm going to roll back to the part where I like my horses to be really quiet and rise up to the occasion because I want them to be able to use their senses at all times and to keep their stuff together. And if they're calm, cool, and I don't know, calculating about everything, they really hone their senses. So I'm just going to touch a few things on their senses, which is super cool. So, their eyesight. So the placement of their eyes, everybody knows they're on the side of their head. So they can see 350 degrees around them at all times. And they can see their feet and up above their back all at the same time. They have in the front of their nose to about 6 feet out, they've got a blind spot. And then from their tail head to the back of them, about 4 feet, they have another blind spot. And unlike us humans, which we also have blind spots, but our brains are able to fill in what is behind us, they do not have that ability. So hence, you can get kicked, they'll spook, they'll be scared. So when you're riding them and dealing with them, you either work them through it, accommodate that, and some horses don't care, and others are super touchy, and that's the swirls again. So everything kind of rolls into each other. Okay, the other thing is their sense of hearing. So their ears, they swivel around and they catch different sounds. So a horse can hear up to 3 miles in a radius around them, which is pretty amazing. A dog can do 1/4 of a mile, and a human can do 300 feet, if that tells you anything. And so when we're out cowboying, and I know these guys can attest, you're riding your horse, and your horse will often turn its head or look, and they'll tell you where everybody's at. They will. You just have to be smart and pay attention. And then the other thing is their sense of smell. And, so I have a really good story about the sense of hearing. So, one morning, my husband and I, I think it was like 4:00 in the morning, and we were saddling up. And this was when we were doing the guest ranch, and we did the guest ranch for like 20-some years, and it was on a weekend. And it was when there was a bunch of fracking down in Oklahoma and southeast Kansas, and an earthquake happened, okay? And we probably had 40 horses in our round pen, and we were sorting and catching and everything for the day. And, I mean, the pipes were moving, the ground was moving, and it only lasted about 15, 20 seconds probably. But all the horses were just wild right before it happened. And so then it happened. And I mean, I can remember I was standing there and I'm like, what is happening? And all the horses just stopped. And then the tremors went away and they all turned and looked south. I've never seen anything like it. All 40 head, and the epicenter was in Oklahoma. Isn't that cool? And I mean, they just have senses that we do not have. So my last thing is their sense of smell. Oh, and the other thing, horses do see color. So I think on the spectrum, people see 2, I think, wavelengths of color, and I'm probably saying this wrong, but those of you that understand, that's what it is. Horses see 3. A lot of birds see 4. And there's certain types of shrimp that see above 7. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so my sense of smell. And I don't really care what kind of horses I ride, either geldings or mares, but I get along better with a lot of mares. And a lot of people don't because they're pretty testy and can be difficult. But woo, they'll give you everything they got and more. So the horses, their sense of smell is about 100 times more, how do I say it, heightened than ours, if that tells you anything. And they pick up pheromones. And so pheromones it's like herbivores, people, everything emits pheromones. And it's stress, fear, whether you're reproductive hormones, your health, everything. And horses can pick all those pheromones up, and they know the difference between the pheromones. That's pretty amazing. We as humans can pick up on pheromones, but we do not know the difference. So we don't know if something's scared, in bad health, but horses do. They pick up on all that, which is pretty cool. And so I have a couple mares now, and what they do is, so you get separated from everybody. And my husband and I, for like 5 years, and Josie, who's my daughter over there, we took her out there as well. We worked on a 1.8 million acre ranch in Nevada, and it had one interior fence, and that was it. And it was wild. And I had these mares, and what they do is you're trotting along, and they drop their nose, and they track. And at first, I thought they were trying to buck me off, and I was like, oh, my gosh, But actually, they're just tracking, and they'll pick up different smells and just track stuff, and they do it here as well. So it's pretty cool. And then I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. So, yeah. Okay.